There you go, buddy. Alright, let's see. I got my stove, I got some lunch, I got some tea, got my cup, and I got my GPS. All ready to go. Alright, we're here just south of the Halifax International Airport, here with a group of hikers and geocachers. We're going to head out for a group hike towards Sibley Stone. It's about a 5-kilometer hike in, 5-kilometer hike out.
Oh, I thought about it.
Because I was going to let him use mine, and I was going to use my wife.
There's a little bit more snow than we expected at first, but good job. That is a long stretch. What are you doing? Okay, so the fortress was built by the French in the early 1700s, and during that time it kind of flipped control between the English and the French until the English finally destroyed the fortress around 1760. I'll tell you one thing, it would really suck to be a sentry here in the winter back in the day, because it is cold and wet. Alright, oh, there it is. Alright, this is it. Last cache. Explored the fortress in detail. Learned a lot about Louisbourg, Louisbourg. And we're going to head out to Ganchin Pub, one of the 18th century taverns, for the final wrap up. Warm up a bit, a little coffee, a little tea. Because I know one thing, I am cold.
And I actually work right close to you.
Come on, come on. Same spot yesterday. Snow melted, but what we have is just a whole bunch of ice. And a lot of the trails are most
waited for Red Fox Raiders. Then we fought. Set up a cam on the phone.
Alright, so it's Saturday morning. Pretty slow getting up. Temperature dipped down to almost -10. And there was another group here they left this morning. And we're supposed to have another group here at the group site, but haven't seen them yet, so we're just about to head off to do a few hikes on a couple of the trails.
Nothing to see here. Move along.
So we're heading out to Peters Point. This is one of the less used trails in the park, unfortunately. And we're walking out to, at the end, it's about a 3-kilometer return trip. Once we reach the end, we should have a nice beach area. Should cross an old cabin at some point, not too sure where it is, but so we decided to do this instead of Snake Lake Trail because of springtime and a little bit of flooding, so we won't be able to cross that. So here is Aboriginal theme, moose cap, legends, and trade routes and travel routes, and pretty interesting stuff. Just here placing the cache, and a couple of changes. First big change is that unlike last year, these are straight up traditional caches. So get the coordinates, find the cache, but we've changed the camouflage. So if you've done last year's challenge, they're all hidden the same specific way. This year they're hidden differently, so to add up the challenge. And there's a few other little things that that we have in store. Alright, so just like last year, we'll have a simple container, but we've hidden this container inside a more camouflage container, so it's different from last year, so I'll add a little bit of a challenge. And just add a few first to find prizes in here. The first to find this year, because of the theme, will be a hand-carved arrowhead out of agate, which goes along with our theme. And specifically at certain of the sites this year, you get to learn a little bit more about this. So, alright, this is the container. Here's the punch for your passport, and once you collect all 5, you get another trackable jewel coin, and we'll have a different design this year. So here's the second bat I've seen in the last 2 days. The other one was in a similar spot in Fundy. What kind of rock is that again?
Chabasite.
Chabasite.
It's a zeolite. It's a soft mineral.
Like it's square crystal shape is what you're looking for, and that is a piece of it.
At the Liverpool Harbor, and hopefully we'll catch in time the reenactment. This is where American revolutionaries stormed The lighthouse here in Liverpool and the British militia pushed them back. Well, it looks like I just missed a reenactment by... they don't call this the gravity link for nothing. Pretty much the direct way up to our lookout. You can see here the trail is very well maintained on this particular section. Alright, we got a couple more 100 meters and we should be at the lookout point. Farmland trail. You can probably see some of the more interesting trees here, so we've got a few more interesting sights on the way. Theme for this year's series is called Family Foundations. This focus on sites around the time where you had cabins and cottages and hunting lodges that were all around the park before it became a national park. So it's more of the European kind of settlers history compared to the Mi'kmaq history, which is, you know, the main focus of the park here. So we got some really cool sites. You might see some old stone foundations or you might see remnants. So we're going to focus on those areas. A lot of the southern portions of the park, less used areas, so really interesting. And of course we'll have a water challenge, so you'll have to get to one of the cache locations via canoe or kayak. But this year we're going to add a twist. You'll be able to do a couple of the caches by bicycle if you wanted to. There's a bike rental here, or bring your own mountain bike. You'll be able to do a couple of the caches. Down the road. Alright, so that first part of the trail was with the stabilizing rig. So what we're going to do now, we're going to walk another section of trail, pretty much the same type of topography, same type of terrain. So we're just going to do it without the rig and see how well.
But it's been really fun. There's been a lot of good stuff going on.
That's what happened.
Yeah, Canada's taken some huge hits. Like,
Yeah, I guess we're next.
well, it's good stuff again.
Yeah.
We're placing the first cache here at Indian Rock. Due to little timing issues this year, had to take the quick way over, but it's about the same amount of paddle as last year's paddle challenge. So we're here at one of the picnic sites at Indian Point and looking for Compass Rock.
Lydia Fancy was a teacher in Maitland Bridge. She carved this in 1942, I believe, because her family had a cabin in the area, and so she had all come out and enjoyed Indian Point for a long time, part of her childhood and stuff. And it's a pretty big deal that she was able to carve the compass in the rock, because this is granite, so it's not easy to do. Soon we get to the Pascoesque brook.
As usual with our geocaching challenges in national parks, we use this Lexan container. It works pretty good overall, a little expensive. Alright, so we're here in Parsboro, Nova Scotia today, out for a little bit of hiking with Dragonfly here, and we're going to head out to Partridge Island. So last year I did a quick video on an IKEA hobo stove, basically making a little wood gas stove, which worked very well. But a similar topic is using a fire bowl. Learned this while I was doing a leave no trace session here with the local search and rescue. I'll show you how it's done here. So let's take a look at what we need to boil a cup of water. So the idea here for the fire bowl is just to use a very simple stainless steel bowl and make yourself a little fire. You don't really need a lot of fuel to get a fire going and to boil a cup of water. So here's our standard camp mug. Got a little foam cover here filled with water. The reason why I have the cover here is just that once we have the fire bowl going, you'll see why in a few minutes. But basically the other tool that you'll need is basically deadfall from the forest floor. So this is branches that fell off trees, different thicknesses. And also here's a little piece of spruce that was cut. You can probably find this when you're walking along the trail. And of course you'll need a lighter and a multi-tool, which will be evident in a few minutes. So let's get started with preparing our fuel. Alright, so here we are at Graves Island Provincial Park here on the last weekend. The park's open for camping before they switch to the off-season. So we're just here to do a quick walk with the dog and see all the changes that's happening around the park. The island itself. Alright, so here we are at Taylor's Head Provincial Park, here to do a quick little hike with the dog. So here we are at Mount Uniacke Estate Museum. This is about a 900-acre property, and it has a number of hiking trails on it. So we're here on one of the trails today just to explore, also looking for a rock. In Durham, Nova Scotia, here for a guided hike. Alright, so here we are at Cape Dore here at Advocate Harbor, and right behind me you probably see Cape Split across from the Minas Bay, and also along the coast behind here is the scene from our last hike, Partridge Island. You can see way in the distance, Black Rock and all that. Alright, so here we are at Joggins Fossil Cliffs here at Joggins. We're kind of timed our visit at low tide, and we'll try to get down to the ocean floor and try to find some fossils. So as I say, we're here at low tide, and you can see that how low the Bay of Fundy gets. There's some remnants of the old dock. Alright, so here we are at Long Lake Provincial Park, just outside of Halifax. Actually, pretty much inside of Halifax here. So what we're going to do today is hike some of the trails with the dog and explore a little bit around. Here we are at the Bluff Wilderness Hiking Trails, just outside of Halifax here. Had to get on the BLT trail to get to the trailhead, and now we're going to start to do a couple of the loops. Bluffs are alright. We're outside in the snow to enjoy Garrison's seasonal ale, the Winter Warmer. This is a 6.5% brew with some cloves and cinnamon and some fancy sugar. So we should expect something kind of special. Some fancy sugar. It's Demerara, Jim.